I don't know how you feel. Some of you probably think what I'm about to say is like, how can you get inspiration from there? You can find inspiration anywhere if you're paying attention, whether it's good inspiration or bad. Because even bad inspiration can change to a great message. You know, it puts everything in direction. So I was actually scrolling through at some point this week, because at the end of the day, we would be prepping for the next morning for this past marriage conference. And somewhere along the way, I took a break and started scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or something. And I ran across this verse that we have sang and said for years. And it talks about those that mount up like wings, God will renew their strength like the eagle's wings. And I said, you know what? We have sang that song. We've done it on Friday nights. We haven't done it in probably a year or so. But I had never sat down and actually studied the phrasing and the wording of that passage. And so in one of the evenings, I don't remember what night it was, I think it was Thursday night, I started studying and looking at what Isaiah chapter 40 actually reads. We've always said that God sustains us in our infirmities. He sustains us in what we're doing. And I love the verse when the Bible proves what we've already been doing. Now, I will be absolutely real with you this morning because I don't know how else to be. This past week has been a whirlwind of feelings, emotions, and roller coaster of emotions. It was our first marriage conference without Dad. We hosted it the week of his birthday. It was Sarah and I's first time co-hosting a marriage conference, and Mom joined us. Actually, I think we joined Mom. It was just, and people looked at it like, wow, that is the strangest setup and all. And it's amazing how God made it work. I probably have not had more than 3 hours of sleep since this time last week in any given night. This is not a self-pity. This isn't a complaining. This isn't a poor baby. Don't do that to me, because it's not about me. It's about him. Sarah was up here the entire week, sick. Not contagious, so don't go weird. Not feeling well, fighting her voice, and how God just showed up. Mom was dealing with her own realities, and I ain't telling her story. That's hers to tell at some point when she wants to. But that's her own journey. But she was dealing with stuff because it's a marriage conference without Dad on his birthday. I cannot imagine. And I don't know why I'm doing this. You're sitting over there, but this is where your chair was. I can't imagine what that would be like. I know my own emotions. Again, this is where I sat. My own emotions were stretched. You add in the fact of a marriage conference where we, how do I say this? We talk about everything, and we share our successes, and we share our failures, and we take our beating heart and we lay it on the altar and say, okay, Lord, I hope you use it, and I hope it's beneficial. And I have always wondered, it's like, Lord, how do you pull this off? Because Dad would teach 6-day conferences from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night for 6 days, and then do like 4 hours of ministry at the end. And at the end of every evening, he'd still answer questions for 2 or 3 hours until somebody, mainly me, after a while would just reach up, grab his arm and say, Dad, we got to go. Mom is waiting. And out the door we go, into the car, and we leave. And I was sitting there thinking, going, okay, Lord, I know you see everything. I know you're a part of everything. And when I started looking at Isaiah chapter 40, it just solidified his greatness in my heart. Is that okay to say? It was like the proof to the pudding. We'd already seen the evidence, but it was like, here. And so we're going to call this, if you're going to title anything, the greatness of God's might. Not yet. Ashley and Jen, Kyron, and Sharon, and Emily all week supplied all of us up here with hot tea and things to keep our throats rolling for everything else. And Ben would sneak in a energy drink every once in a while to me, and I'm like, yeah, kind of a thing. But so Ashley's like, do you need tea? Because you can hear my voice. And I'm like, nope, not yet. I'll be good. Open your Bibles to Isaiah chapter 40. I do want to encourage everyone. We haven't done this in a while. And I appreciate that we have electronic devices to be able to track. Okay, I said track. Depending on who you want to say is tracking who. I appreciate they're here to look stuff up. I mean, I am teaching from a tablet. I do have my Bible here. But I would encourage everyone, bring a paper copy. It's not as easy to highlight in here. Now, tablets and phones, if you got a little pen on it, yeah, you can write and do little things. But I recommend getting used to paper, because at some point you may not have these, or what if it dies mid-service? Isaiah chapter 40, we're going to start in verse 25. I told Pastor Donna this is not going to be a very long exhortation this morning. At least that's not my intention. But I told her and I told Pastor Sarah this morning, I said, but the Holy Spirit has control, not me. I'm hanging out and reading. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 25, and he says, to whom then will you liken me? Shall I be equal, saith the Holy One. I think it's interesting that the Lord God, Elohim, before he was made flesh, the Word, he's asking the people going, so, is there anyone really like me? Who's my equal? Because how many of us build, well, I can't ask it that way, Lord. I know you're not telling me to. I know you're tweaking it. How many of us have built a life around, I can do it myself? And the Lord is saying, who are you going to liken unto me? Is there anyone my equal? I mean, he is knocking down idolatry in verse 25. He is letting he's letting all of us know there is no one like me. He's not arrogant. He's not being prideful. He's seriously being confident, but he's also being accurate. There's no one like him. Verse 26 continues, says, lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one faileth. So let's you know me, I break down per line. First and foremost, he's saying, get your head out of the dirt. He's like, get your head out from down here, because when we're feeling beaten down, when we're feeling lonely, when we're feeling tired, when we're feeling worn out, when how many of you know it? I mean, here's the truth of it. You've run the race, and at the end of running a race, what do you end up doing? You're going, oh, okay, I've gotten older, y'all. We did hiking with the OA up to the top of the ridge a few weeks ago. I got to the top of that ridge, and I'm standing there going, we're good, y'all. I'm just going to stand over here for a minute. I'm going to take the perimeter. And I'm holding on to a walking stick just because I like carrying that in the woods for various reasons. And I'm leaning onto this thing going, Lord, do not let them see I'm out of breath. It's like, don't let animals see fear. Don't let the youth see fear. And I'm leaning on and going, okay, we're good. You know, kind of a thing. But you do that. But what do we end up doing? We end up looking down. When everyone tells you, what do? You raise your arms up, you look up, and you lift up your breath. Why? So that your lungs expand. The Lord's sitting and telling us from a spiritual point of view, when you're feeling beat down, don't be looking down on the dirt. There ain't nothing there. I don't know why I went southern all of a sudden. But he says, look up. And he's saying, I want you to look up into the stars. I want you to look up into the sky. You see everything up there. All that host that shows up at night. I love this season at my house. I love seeing the sun come right up over the ridge, right into my 3-bedroom windows. I love, in the end of the night, I found the sweet spot of our blinds in our bedroom, because every bedroom needs a set of blinds. Amen. But I found the sweet spot. Well, not every bedroom. If you live completely out in the woods, I guess it doesn't matter. My bedroom window faces Pleasant Valley Road. I need blinds. But I found the sweet spot on it. So when I'm laying in bed, from the ground, you can't see anything into my room. But I can see from my bed everything up in the sky. The moon shines in. I can see the twinkling of the lights. I can see the airplanes fly over. And then me and Austin hop on our little app. And, Dad, did you track that one come over? I did. Did you see that it's not numbered? There are those things. And I can lay there and I can look up and I can see the twinkling. And the Lord is saying, listen, I want you to look up on high for a second. I want to change your perspective. I want you to look at everything that I have created that's in the sky. We're not talking about all the stuff on the ground yet. Just what's in the sky. The hosts that it bringeth out their host by number, by increase. You get those really beautiful skies in the valley when it's absolutely clear. Our house is a city on a hill. We have got lights on all 4 corners, but we've got a switch that takes everything out. And my house can go dark in like 3 switches. Everything goes dark in my house. And you sit on that porch on the side porch, and you just look up, and it's amazing to see what God created in the sky. I had the opportunity when I was in Arkansas and Arizona. There was a meteor shower that came through, not Arizona, Arkansas, and of course, they thought it was really great if we go out there at 1 o'clock in the morning and look up at the skies in the woods of Arkansas. And I went out there, and we got out there about midnight, and we had blankets laid out, and we just sit there and laid up and looked up at the stars. And without any city lights, with no county, I mean, y'all, it was dark. It was like when the Lord pulls the power plug on the valley, and the valley looks dark. That is serious dark. And you just look, but what you see, and you could see the Milky Way come across with the naked eye. You could see the meteor shower when it would come across, and there was this one that was absolutely beautiful. It was large. It comes across, and when it hit the atmosphere and it hit the edge of the earth, it went, and it broke into like 7 or 8 pieces and just rained across. And we're like, oh, I should have had my camera. And it was absolutely gorgeous to see all this movement. And he says, what comes out of number? And he's reminding us that our perspective is he calleth them all by name. He knows every star, every planet, every moon, every comet, every piece of space dust out there. Anything that he created, he says, and I calleth them all by the name of the greatness of his might. This is the reminder. Now here, you're thinking, well, yeah, but what about me? Well, this is the perspective. If he knows all of that, don't you think he knows you? He says, look up. Look at everything that I've created. I know the names of everything I created. Take in consideration, if he knows the name of every star he ever created in the solar systems, plural. Not just the ones we've seen in name, because we gave them numbers. You get into astronomy. I always got to say it the right way. You get into astronomy. The things that don't have names yet, they have numbers. But he's already named them all. You take in consideration the billions and billions of everything else he created in the ocean, on the land, in the sky, in the space, everything else. He still named everything. If he named every star, I wonder if he named every tree. He named every bug, every ant. I don't know why I don't know why God created flies and gnats and mosquitoes or cockroaches. Let's just be real for a second. I don't know the purpose of why he created. I know they all have a purpose in breaking down decaying matter and all that kind of stuff and feeding other animals. I get it. But I don't need them anywhere near my house. And I don't mean in my house. I don't need it anywhere near. I don't even need them in the valley. But he named them all. And he goes on, he says, and if I, the Lord, know all of this, then why are you doubting that I know everything about you and what you're going on in your life? Verse 27, why sayest thou, O Jacob, thou speakest, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord and my judgment is passed over from my God. He's sitting there saying, why do you ask that I don't know what you're going through? Why do you assume I don't know everything about your everyday life? If I've named all of this, then don't you think I know everything about you? Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. Have you not heard? Have you not seen that was it getting that rough? The moms, okay. All the moms said yes. Have you heard and know that I, the everlasting Lord, the Word before coming flesh, the creator of the ends of the earth, I never get tired. I never get weary. Which means you don't wear me down when you ask me questions. Okay, let's put that in perspective. This is for all the parents. I'll include teachers, office staff, administration staff. Where'd Ashley go? Think about all the times people ask you nonstop questions. Think about all the times your little kids walk up to you, barely can speak, and they're like, Mommy, Daddy, what is it? And you're like, what? And you're like, and all those things, but it's the same question over and over and over again. You're like, dude, I'm really sorry. I don't understand what you're asking. There's this little bit of frustration in there when somebody comes up and says, I'm going to mess for a little bit. I'm just going to talk. I know there are times we keep this room cooler than what most of you will like. Okay? I know. You really don't have to come tell me it's cold in here. I'm watching. I see you shiver, but I also know you're awake because it gets too warm. You're, kind of a thing. I get it. But when you've been asked the same question 15 times in a row by 15 or 16 different people, or the same child asked the same question for 5 days in a row, there's this little bit of frustration that kind of grows a little bit because you don't know how to answer it. The Lord's sitting there saying, listen, that ain't me. I don't get frustrated with your prayers. I don't get weary in well-doing. I don't get weary in doing great and awesome things for my people and for my flock. I don't mind. There is nothing you can do except sin that makes me tired. And I do think he gets a little, I won't say frustrated, but a little disappointed when we continue to do the same sin over and over again. And he keeps telling us the same thing over and over. So you need to stop that. I don't ever get tired of hearing your requests. I won't ever faint. I won't quit listening. I won't quit taking care of you. The last part of that verse is there is no searching of his understanding. His understanding is a mystery, Mom. It's a complete mystery because he's sitting there. So the Lord reminds us that we physically, our brains do not have the faculties. We don't have the comprehension. We don't have the way of putting all the pieces together to truly understand his glory and his majesty and how he thinks and how all the things that he can do for us. Because we sit here and we go, well, if she's praying and I'm praying and they're praying, and if there's 50 people praying, how is he moving that? How is he listening to all this? Like, you don't have the comprehension, the ability, your brain to, honestly, I think he turns that switch off on purpose, to be honest with you, until we're glorified. You don't have the ability to investigate me enough to know everything I'm thinking and I'm capable of doing in your life. It's not possible. And then when you realize that, because there are people who searched out, and I go back to scripture, his ways are greater than our ways. His thoughts are greater than my thoughts. There isn't enough thinking I can do that even comes to comparison. The mind and the greatness and the power of God. I look at what we did here and it's like, Lord, how did we pull that off? And honestly, I'm still going to ask the question, but he can't tell me. You know why? Because I wouldn't understand it. He just sits there and say, I got you. That's all you need to know. How do moms pull out birth the way that they do? Dude, y'all, all the things that happen for a mother to give birth to a baby is absolutely mind-blowing. Our brains, I will call this for men. Maybe you ladies understand everything about it. Wonderful. Sarah is probably somewhere. I'm waiting for a text now in a minute, I'm sure, that's going to say, I do understand, kind of thing. Us guys, we do not have the mental faculties to understand all of the things that happen. Even if you went to school to study it and help. We still don't understand. We can get close, but the mysteries of even the body, we don't understand. The greatest doctors in the world don't know everything that happens in this great, fearfully and wonderfully made thing standing here. They're figuring out bits and pieces, but they don't understand. It's still a mystery in so many ways. Sarah texted and said, I don't understand it all. Thank you, baby. Verse 29. Like I said, this is where we have to go because in my brain, I'm a logistics mentality. I want to know how things work. I want to understand how are we going to build a $20 million building? I am absolutely asking God that question. You put it on my heart. You gave me, I might actually have a paint color for you at some point soon. And you can tweak it because I know my shades of colors are different than yours. I know what the light posts look like. I know what the fountain looks like. I know what the road looks like. I know I can close my eyes and I can fly bits and pieces of this property. And I'm looking going, Lord, how are you going to pull this off? And he looks at me and goes, I can't tell you because you won't understand. And you need to be okay with that. But everything in me wants to know. I want to know the details. I want to know the date. Because I know the date the county told us that we had to have everything pulled. And I'm looking at the Lord going, dude, love you, man. I'm trying to be patient, but clock's ticking. And he's sitting out there going, I know. Well, how are you going to pull this off? I'll let you know when it's over with. Because we all have some need to know. Wow, I didn't expect to, man, it got quiet. We all have a need to know at one level or another. And here's the Lord saying, listen, you can't understand everything I know. I'm going to tell you what you're able to understand in the time and the season you need it for where you're going. Verse 29 continues, he says, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth their strength. He gives human strength and abilities and efficiency to the weary, fatigued, and exhausted. Any of us ever been there? Absolutely. I look at what happened up here this week. Oh, this is the only way this past week God pulled this off. When you consider all the mental gymnastics that this week entails, the logistics behind the scenes, even with all the people there, and I can't even speak for the mental gymnastics for Mom. I'm not even going to touch that. I had my own emotional, mental things to work through. But to be able to pull off last week had nothing to do with us. We just happened to be sitting here. He giveth power to the faint, because at the end of the day, we were wiped. And we're like, I'm telling you, how difficult was it to drag yourself Friday night? Coming here Friday night after all week, it was like, Lord, trusting in you. This morning, I got a sick wifey at home. She isn't feeling good. I love all of y'all. I'll tell you right now where I want to be. Curled up next to her, watching the service online. And the only way, that's because he gives power to the faint. To them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Verse 30. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall or fail. We think about what we always say as parents when our young kids are running around. I really wish I could tap into their energy field. I wish I could figure out how to, you can watch sci-fi movies and the Matrix tapped into people and that's how they got their energy, according to movies. But from a point of view as a father, when you're sitting there at the end of the day and you're tired and you're curled up on the couch, you're just trying to peace out, and you're watching your littles just go vroom, 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 vroom. We built our kitchen with an island. Do you know what happens when you build a kitchen with an island? Exactly. And if you're sitting at the island and they're doing loops around you, and James is going, you're watching this like, will y'all please? And they're like, what, Daddy? Can we go outside? Can we go outside and play? Can we do this? And we're like, oh, can I have a little bit of that? Or you look at the young men, the vigorous and the strong and everything else. Yet here's the thing, how this translates out. The most vigorous and powerful and influential people that we look at, that we think should be able to handle and accomplish everything for the kingdom, those who are healthy and have abilities will faint and not be able to finish the race that was set before them, and they will utterly fall. This is what it's saying. How many times have you seen people you looked at and said, you know what? They should have the ability to pull this off, and you watched them tank. They had all of the credentials. They had all the attitude. They looked like, they had the personality, they had everything, they had the strength. You had all that stuff, and all of a sudden you start watching people who run an endurance race that you're like, oh yeah, they're going to win, and they tank halfway through. He's saying there's going to become utter fall. Complete destruction and ruin is what utterly fall means. This is for those that attempt to do this on their own. Those of us that I said earlier, I can do it myself. I do it myself. Sarah needs to be here. She says it absolutely perfect. I do it myself. Those of us that do that, if we actually accomplished what we put out to do on our own, assuming we accomplished it, how are we feeling at the end? We are done. You didn't even make it through it. If we would have tried to do this under our own strength, we would have been finished Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Conference didn't start till 2. Well, some of you are running the schedule going, wait a second. You didn't even get here yet. I know. But, verse 31, but they that wait upon the Lord. Pause right there for a second. The wait talks about a fervent living your life, trusting God. Fervent is the word that I found. It's not just I'm just going about my life and yeah, God's going to take care of it, but I'm just going to go really slow to give him an opportunity to get it done. There's a fervent. It means I am go get it. We're going to build a $20 million building. I just need to know how to pull it off, Lord. But we're going to do it. We're going to do a marriage conference. How are you going to pull off? I ain't got a clue. We're going to do a For My Life next week. Awesome. How are you going to do it? I don't know. We're going to do it. And I don't have to know. I am going about my everyday life fervently excited, anticipation with hope of everything God has already promised He's going to do. He's going to do it again. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. There's this change, and that renew actually translates to swiftly pass through. And I went, Lord, that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm rolling through translation. I checked New American Standard. I actually read the New Living Translation. I looked at the New Imputed Version. I looked at every version to see how it changed. You know what's so funny? They all said the same. Like, okay, swiftly pass through. And I realized that when He renews your strength, you swiftly pass through the challenge. I was like, oh, I love that. I went back to the old mud run that we did years ago. When that renewing that strength, and all of a sudden you're bogged down and that renewing comes in, all of a sudden you just pass right on through that mud hole and you're on the other side because He renews your strength to accomplish the task. It changes something in your world, but it's quickly. Sarah would be sitting here with absolutely no voice, and she'd pick up the microphone. It was absolutely amazing because we'd be both like, she would like, I'm going to say something. And we're like, okay. And the moment she flips the mic on and starts to speak, her voice was absolutely perfect. When she was done saying what she was supposed to say for God, guess what happened? The voice went back to here. And then we're like, okay, that is what we're talking about. It swiftly came. There wasn't a struggle with it. I know you're going to, but she struggled with her voice. Yeah, but God overpowered that. It wasn't just the physical. There had to be some things change with that because she was waiting on the Lord for that moment to accomplish the task that she was given. Here, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. God gives us the ability to swiftly pass through, to swiftly change, to accomplish the task or finish the project or handle the challenge, where He gives us the wings as eagles, which means doesn't necessarily mean all of a sudden we're going to have feathers, which would be cool. I mean, wings would be cooler than a cape. I grew up watching superheroes, and all of a sudden, there they go. Wings would be cooler than a cape. But here's the thing, He gives us the ability to rise above the moment, to rise above the challenge when we're older, when we're tired, when we're worn out. To be able to completely rise up above everything that's going on and have His perspective way up here to say, listen, oh, I understand now. To bring us to a place of peace. Because, oh my goodness, it is one of the most peaceful things in the world to sit back and watch eagles and hawks fly. Every one of us, maybe I can't say everyone. The majority of people that I've ever talked to about wings as eagles or birds or stuff like that, everyone that I've talked to says, man, I wish I could do that. Man, once, what it would look like to soar. I mean, you even look at Sarah's jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. We've talked about what would that look like if I ever went skydiving. I really don't have a desire to ever go skydiving. I have to wait till my life insurance policies is ready to go. And I need to wait till Sienna is at least 18. And yeah, that's a ways off. I don't care, but I'll tell you the one thing that intrigues me. Ever seen a flying squirrel suit? You know, where you get on the edge of a cliff and you're in a jumpsuit with a helmet and a Red Bull kind of insignia on there, because that's the only ones I ever watch. Like 3 or 4 people got that. Thank you for laughing. And they sit there and they're normal, and all of a sudden they do this, and there's claw, there's parachute, and they do here, and all of a sudden they got wings like a flying squirrel, and they come to the edge and they go, and they jump, and they slap their arms down like this till they get up speed, and all of a sudden they go, and then they're like, whoo. The Shales used to have a flying squirrel way back in the day, and it was so cool to see it just leap and whoo. And I'm like, I want to do that. Not really. But that would be the coolest, because you're talking speed, and they're flying through trees, and they're leaning towards and everything that you do. And the Lord reminded me, he goes, wait a second. You do that every day in the Spirit. Consider the amount of faith it takes to leap off just to be a pastor. What it requires the amount of faith to believe in payroll, to believe that somebody somewhere is going to want to come to For My Life, to want to believe the amount of faith it is as parents that our kids are going to grow up to be contributing members of society. And all the obstacles you're now flying through and you're zimming through there and doing all this. The Lord said, listen, you already do that if you let me do it for you. Think of the things we already fly through. The mountain ranges we get to view and see. He'll mount us up like wings as eagles, and we'll soar so that all above the things that would normally drag us down. We will run and not be weary. He provides us with everything we need to handle, engage, and execute each vision that He gave us personally, corporately, and for our families. For every direction that He asks us to go, for the purpose of our life that He's given us, He's already said, listen, I'm going to provide everything you need to run the race. Habakkuk chapter 2. We wrote it down on tablets. So when you run the race, you can see it. He goes, I've already given you everything you need to run that race. All you got to do is run it. And listen, and when you're running it, you won't be weary. You'll be able to run it. You won't be tired. You'll make it to the end of the marathon, triathlon, however many other ons there are. No matter what obstacles, no matter if it's a mud run or swimming, or we talked about surfing for next year, surfing trip, whatever it is, I'll help you run that race so you don't quit halfway through, so you don't give up. You'll run it. You won't be weary in well-doing. Walk and not faint. He'll help us walk everything about our day-by-day lives without just saying, I'm done. Every challenge that comes with it, every obstacle, everything that bogs us down, the things that so easily beset us, the things that interfere, but I'm going to give you the ability to walk. If you wait on me, if you patiently, fervently wait and trust me, I will help you through every aspect of your life. I'll help you walk the day by day by day by day. Walking as a believer isn't easy, and God knew it. He said, but if you wait on me, I'll help you walk it every single day. I'll give you strength so you don't faint. I'll give you power so you don't give up. I'll take care of it. And I look back and I go, okay, this entire passage in Isaiah chapter 40 truly reminds me how majestic and powerful God is because of what He's ordained for my steps, what He's ordained for yours. You can call it a calling, you can call it a vision, you can call it an assignment, whatever it is He put on your heart. Whether or not it was a new business, whether or not it was just running an old business, maybe it's running a church, maybe it's running a ministry, whatever it is, maybe it's just being a mom or a dad, or whatever that looks like, He is giving you everything to accomplish it if what? We fervently and patiently wait on the Lord with that hope that He's going to accomplish it all. Troubles are going to come, and He's like, listen, troubles are going to come, but that's fine. I will give you the strength. But there's things going to pop up that I don't know how to do. That's fine. I'm going to give you the wisdom. But there's going to be emotional struggles. That's fine. I'm going to give you peace, love, joy, peace. And when I take all of that, the fruits of the Spirit, as cheesy it is, and we've got it on our refrigerators, and we've got it on our bookmarks and everywhere else. But when you start looking at what He really gives us, and the fruits of the Spirit, those are the gifts that we can walk and run and soar in every aspect. But it comes back to those that wait upon the Lord. But now I got to jump all the way back to where we began in verse 25. Who is equal to the Lord? I'm not equal to the Lord. I can try and do it all on my own. I can try and fly. I had a child once, I'm not saying which child it was, who put on a cape, got on the back of the couch and jumped. That child crashed into a glass coffee table and had to go get stitches. And I'm saying that child, I ain't saying he or she because I'm not giving it away. That child learned really quickly they can't do this on their own. How many of us, though, we've tried to do it on our own, and we got to the edge and we're like, I'm going to go fly, I'm going to make this happen, and we jumped and we went, why? Because we didn't go with God. We were in fear. We were reactive. We did it because someone told us to, but we didn't have the conviction. We thought we knew more than God. Is there anyone equal with God? I cannot run my race by myself. I have to do it with him. I can't walk the day by day because the moment I think I can do anything on my own, I have already failed. The moment I say I got this, I have failed because I ain't got nothing. I don't want to see utter destruction come to me, my family, or my generations, which means I've got to step out of my own self-idolatry, the things that still whisper in my ear and say, you can do this on your own. Or you used to be the make it happen guy. You can still make it happen. No, I can't. I can do all things that what? Christ that strengthens me, but I can't do it on my own. I challenge you that if you're putting your belief, your trust in anything other than God, anything other, for your finances, for your health, for your well-being, your mental health, your physical health, your children, grandchildren, your grandparents, your parents, if you're putting anything as this is how it's going to make it happen as a source other than God, Scripture says there'll be an utter fall. And I don't want to see that for anybody.